Welcome back to the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel. Today's episode, we're moving on with our 63 split window behind me, and I'm going to show you what floor modifications and firewall modifications you have to do to install this body on a Roadster Shop Spec 7 chassis. We're also going to mock up an LS engine and a transmission to demonstrate what changes have to be made, so be sure to stick around. I'm in the middle of building the 63 Corvette Restomod on a Roadster Shop chassis. We started off by rebuilding the birdcage, and now I started skinning the body with the original fiberglass panels, and now we're on to the floor area. So whenever you do a Roadster Shop chassis swap, depending on what engine and transmission combination you put in, you're gonna have to change your tunnel. You're also gonna have to change the back of the tunnel from right behind the shifter to the back, because the rear end of the Roadster Shop chassis sits higher than the original one did in the Corvette chassis. So we have some modifications to make. So to make sure we get everything set up and mocked up properly, I ordered this engine kit from Speedway Motors. This big chunk of metal turns into an LS block, and I also have the heads here. So I got to take all this stuff out, figure out how it goes together, and get that block dropped in here. I have engine mounts for it as well, and this customer is going with the Tremec TKX 5-speed. So I had another customer order one for his car, and they don't make a mock-up for this. So what I did is I ordered some strap steel, and what we're going to do is loop some straps around this transmission, and we're going to make a rough profile of this. I also have a shifter that I got off of eBay, just a cheap Tremec shifter that we're going to make, so that way we'll line all this up, and we'll have an accurate representation of what this looks like in the car. And I just have an old drive shaft we'll stick in there to see what we have to do to modify the transmission tunnel and the floor and everything. So a couple hours later, I whipped up a mock-up transmission. This one's a little more see-through than the engine block, but it will certainly serve its purpose. I tried to capture the big step downs, so the main part of the case is one size. It steps into this second part, and then the tail housing. We made sure we had the mount in the correct spot. I bought a cheap shifter off of eBay, cut it up, and I had to set it offset because the Corvette transmission is offset. So all that looks good. It measures up pretty well, and I welded some washers to the transmission so we could put the bell housing on it, and now we can bolt the bell housing to the engine block. Later I'll probably make a bell housing or just find a cheap one somewhere, but this looks pretty darn good. I'm going to get these bolted up. I think I do have to take the shifter off though to get it snaked through the tunnel. So I'm going to get these two mated up, and let's set them inside there and see how it looks after all that work. But I think what I'm going to do first is just cut this piece out, and then we'll take a look at the tail housing and see if we need to cut anything. And then I just drew a couple circles here. I'm going to start with this inner one, take this out, and see if that gets us the clearance we need, and if not, we'll just start whittling our way out, and we'll just put like a little blister in there to bump it in, just to give us the clearance we need. So I've been struggling to try to get everything to fit the way it's supposed to. I don't think I really have the right motor mounts here because the engine was too far forward. So I did some trickery and flipped them upside down so I could get it to go backwards. This is not the way it's supposed to go, but the engine was way too far forward. So now with the engine back to a more reasonable location, now we can see all the consequences of doing this engine swap and chassis swap. So the whole goal that I had was to get the shifter centered in the hole in the transmission tunnel, because this is a transmission specific for Corvette. So once I got that centered up, I just kind of made the engine mounts match. Now this hole was already here and this hole was already here, but I punched this hole out here and I took a bunch of little slivers away because it was just interfering pretty good. So all this stuff got cut out to make room for the bell housing. So what we're gonna have to do is make a little bubble right here. This area should be fine, so we can just make a flat patch through here. So just pretend you don't see that. If you're doing this swap, you're probably gonna have to make some clearance in here. And then the big one is back here. I cut this big piece out here. This is where the original drive shaft tunnel was, and the drive shaft ran downhill. Where you can see in this chassis, the drive shaft is actually running uphill, and it's running a little more uphill than it should be. I just cut a piece of this cardboard tubing that I had laying around, and you can see we're not even centered up on the transmission because we're running into the tunnel here. What we're gonna have to do is put a cut through here so we can pull this whole wall over. And we have to do that because the Roadster shop centered up the transmission and engine in the chassis. They probably did that because all the engine and transmission combinations you're going to use are going to be bigger, so you need more room on each side for headers, steering, and all the accessories. So they just centered it up, where the original Corvette, it was offset to the passenger side. So this is just another consequence of that. So now we need to make some more modifications and then see if we can get this drive shaft centered up, and then we can work on trying to enclose some of these areas. I made my modifications to the back of the tunnel. I started off by removing the seatbelt bracket that was held on by a few rivets, and then I made a cut that started out at about 3/4 of an inch and tapered forward. And if I pull this out, you can see there's a pretty even gap, and this is a 3-inch tube, so a 3-inch drive shaft should clear just fine. And now we're centered up on the tail housing, and we're centered up on the rear end. So all that looks pretty good. So now if I take this stock piece, you can see this is where we started out at. And now if I put it back here, we probably can just tip it up. Maybe put a little slice here to relax it. But we could probably get away with using this piece. I'll have to remove this little bracket for the console, but we can fiberglass that back in. I'm not afraid of that. We will have to add more on this side because it's going to get wider from here back. But I don't hate that. That could save a little bit of time and material, and just, you know, if you can use a piece of fiberglass, I kind of like to. So I think we can get away with that. So I'm happy with that. Now we just have to get this jigged up so we can hold it in place. I might take this drive shaft out and put some clamps in here and push off of this side onto this side. We'll fiberglass the inside. I also have a mold that I made of this area that I think we can use to rebuild this area. And then we'll start patching all of these holes in the floor. And there's, for some reason, a bunch of holes here that someone drilled. So let's work on getting all of these filled. I think this is it for the modifications for this section. I did my first round of fiberglassing on the floor, and before I put any glass down, I scuffed everything up with 36 grit. I came through all these areas to remove any of the loose paint, just to scuff the surface, carpet. There were some rivets left behind. I got all that stuff cleared out, and then I put foil tape underneath the areas that I'm repairing, just to give us a backer, and I put some clamps here to push this side of the tunnel out. So I'm gonna do this joint first. Once that cures up, then we'll put the top on. I thought it'd be easier, there's just less moving parts, and the most important thing is we need this clearance, so I wanted to make sure that set up first. And then I fixed a couple little holes in the front, and then I filled this blister in. I literally just packed this in with cardboard. I put one piece of corrugated cardboard folded in half in there, and then I put another piece on top covered in parchment paper. I just jammed it in there up against the bell housing, and that'll give us enough space in between there. Once that cures up, I'll pull the bird cage off, and then we can get in here easier to patch this hole, both of these holes on either side. And I got my mold out, which is sitting back here and made in an earlier video. We'll use that to patch up the tunnel. I have the bird cage off the chassis, and I have my next round of patches ready to go. I have quite an elaborate fixture here just to hold up this clamp to keep this at a certain height. And I have another one that I'll show you later underneath here to hold this up. And I took some of this metal, I bent, and I put like 4 or 5 bends in it to get more of a smooth radius instead of just a sharp 90. And that metal will be my mold that I'll come in here and lay fiberglass through here. So we'll glass all that together. I have my little mold in here, and I have one rivet and a clamp holding it in place. I'll dig that out and fiberglass it. But that's holding this transmission tunnel piece in place. So I'll come through here and lay my fiberglass. And then I also have a little patch on the firewall. I let my next glue job dry overnight. I'm happy with the way that turned out. Here is that mold I was talking about I made in another video. I made this of another C2 floor pan, and I've used it to fix cars in this area before. And then my little tin here made this piece. It actually looks pretty factory. I mean, aside from this where the clamp was and some of these hairs, this will get cut off, and then this will all get fiberglassed into the dynamic rear tub. So I'm not concerned about stuff like that. All the ugly hairs and stuff can be ripped off and knocked off. But this just needs to be sanded up. This is nice and solid in here now. Same with all these little repairs. So now we almost have a complete floor pan except for right here. And I did the most, I don't know, most redneck thing I've done so far, which is just take some of this parchment paper with a piece of cardboard behind it, and I self-tapped it to the floor. So that should be good enough for these floor patches. I'm just gonna mix up some more glass. We'll patch those in. You have to get creative when you're doing stuff like this because it's hard to get clamps in there. I had to make this little clamping fixture. I took the bottom of this clamp off and I screwed it to this board and clamped it to this one so it wouldn't pivot. And what this allowed me to do was give myself an extra support right here to the front of the floor pan to push this how I needed to. So, I mean, these clamps are good for a lot of things. This is probably one of the more interesting ways I've done it, but it worked. I mean, if it works, is it a bad idea? I don't know. So I finished up putting fiberglass on the tunnel, and I think it turned out pretty nice. Whenever that cures up, it'll obviously be the same color as this stuff, but it's nice and solid. And that pretty much solidifies the top side. We're gonna end the video off here. I'm gonna let this cure up. Next week, we'll start off by scuffing this stuff up, cleaning up these edges, and then we need to fiberglass some of this stuff on the bottom, specifically this patch up here to blend that in, that one, and those ones. This one, we'll get some glass in there for strength, but the beauty doesn't really matter because the drive shaft will be right here. But we'll try to tidy all of this up. Then we'll put the bird cage back on the chassis. We will work on finishing up the underside of that floor, and hopefully we will get the back end glued on to the bird cage, and we can work on fitting that center section in. I have the wheel tubs glued in. I just need to do some cleanup work on those. So hopefully it starts to turn into a car pretty soon, which is good because we need the space. You can see stuff's blowing up everywhere, and it's a mess. Doors are over here, quarter panels. We have all the parts to put this car back together, but we just have to get moving. So that'll be the plan for next week. Hopefully this helps answer some questions about what modifications you have to do. You don't just have to modify the rear floor, you have to modify the transmission tunnel. Depending on what transmission you run, you're gonna have different modifications. If you run a 6-speed manual, you're gonna have to, you know, do more modifications than I did. You'll probably have to raise the tunnel and bow it out a little bit just to make room for that big transmission. If you're running a big automatic, you're gonna have to do the same thing. But most likely, if you're just running an LS or a small block Chevy or an LT, you're definitely gonna have to do this, and you're probably gonna have to blister the firewall just to make some room for the bell housing. So here's a better view of what I did with the engine mount. Again, this is not correct, but I talked with the guy who owns this car and who owns the Tribute Split, and he bought a different set of motor mounts that will essentially let him move it forward to basically where this is. I think this engine's actually like a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch too far back, which is fine. We made extra clearance. I think it really should be just a little bit forward, but it's pretty much where it needs to be. So the Roadster shop sends them with these motor mounts, which they're fine, but they're not adjustable. The one that he has 2 more holes beyond this, which allows you to adjust it and get it right. So that's what I'm gonna use from now on. I'm not gonna use these. I really don't like these. I'll put these on the shelf, and I'll order those kits, and I'll use those on all my cars from here on out. Moving the engine back gives you more clearance for your header. Your header tube can come out, and it'll be away from the control arm. If your engine is further forward, you might run into this. You're gonna have issues with your steering geometry and accessory drives. The further you move it back, you just free up a lot of space. So I think that's the ticket. That's my takeaway. And I'll show a picture of what the other mounts look like that I'm gonna use from here on out. I gotta get some of those ordered. So now I'm gonna go ahead and edit this video, and I got a lot of cleaning up to do in the shop. So it'll look completely different next week. Once that car's gone, we'll have room for activities. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. We're gonna have a lot of work coming up on this car next week, and the 67 Roadster will be leaving next week as well. So we'll be saying goodbye to that, getting some more room in the shop, and we're gonna start turning this thing back into a split window. So I got a lot of work to do, and I'll catch you guys later.